Angry guy here. And markets are acting like a recession is unavoidable. Yeah, this is happening. Well, so markets are acting like a recession is unavoidable. I hate to say I told you so, but I kind of told you so. Right now, there's a significant amount of volatility happening. And this is not just in the bonds market, this is in the entire financial market as a whole, as panic is beginning to set in, okay? As the buy nature of things is catching up, and Wall Street is realizing that Main Street can no longer buckle under the pressure of these economic times, of these difficult economic times, they're beginning to look for their golden parachutes. So here's one for you. This actually comes from Bloomberg.com, published on June 17th, 2019, all right? Pay attention. Markets are acting like a recession is unavoidable. It's not just the bond market that's signaling a severe economic slowdown. Also, Boris Johnson has failed to charm currency traders. All right? Trade wars, the empire strikes back. If there were no trade war conflicts between the US and China, would it be necessary to invent one? In other words, would it be possible to explain what is going on in the markets without making reference to deteriorating US-China trade relations? I'm beginning to suspect that it would. Bond markets may be behaving as though they are bracing for something terrible to happen, because traders are indeed scared that something terrible is going to happen. Exhibit A. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York's Empire State Manufacturing Index was released Monday. It was terrible, showing the biggest monthly decline since the last recession. Guys, don't worry. Don't worry about this data, guys. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. And as the red line shows, it doesn't drop this low for long without presaging a true recession to come. Oh my gosh, guys. Yeah, no, like I said, guys, don't worry. Don't you worry your pretty little heads off. Everything's gonna be okay, all right? These are just fear tactics, guys. This is fear tactics. This right here, this is conspiracy. Conditions for the U.S. trucking industry, often regarded as a leading indicator for manufacturing, looks no better. Sharky told me about this last Christmas. Sharky actually told me that something was off. He said that deliveries were off. Deliveries were falling. Okay? He told me this. He started I haven't heard from Sharky in the last 2 weeks. A week or two ago. All right, so maybe a week or two it's been. He told me that he was getting ready to potentially quit trucking in the next 2 weeks. All right? That was like a week or two ago. All I'm saying is he told me that the trucking industry was slowing down massively. And I forget if he said that he had never seen anything like this before, or this was just like unbelievable. So usually the truck drivers are the first to know, because they're the ones making the big deliveries. And whenever they see a reduction in deliveries, they suddenly know, there's a slowdown happening. That's what happened over the holiday. Of course, the media wants to show you Black Friday sales of people going crazy to pick up the latest items. I want to tell you guys something about Black Friday sales. When you see people going absolutely insane to get items on sale during Black Friday, that is not a sign of prosperity. That is a sign of poverty. Poverty. All right? Because most people would not be out there risking their lives and their time to fight over a $300 flat screen TV. Think about it carefully. Conditions for the U.S. trucking industry, often regarded as a leading indicator for manufacturing, look no better. This is the FTR Trucking Conditions Index, which combines several different factors about demand for trucking. Figures below zero show a risk of contraction. Industrial metals provide another strong market-based recession indicator. The Bloomberg Industrial Metals Subindex suggests that the optimism on growth that accompanied the first year of the Trump administration has dissipated. Looking at the U.S. stock market, we see the type of relative performance that would be expected in the run-up to a recession. Guys, this is from Bloomberg.com. Even if the overall market conditions show robust performance, this is how the S&P 500 industrial sector has performed relative to utilities since the election. It's all going to be all right, guys. Investors tend not to buy utilities on the scale that we have seen lately unless they are pessimistic. There are technical factors in the bond market that have driven the current deflation scare, but there do appear to be a number of factors pointing towards an economic slowdown. Boris the Bold. Way back in my misspent youth, I attended a debate at Oxford Union. Where Boris Johnson made his pitch to be the president of the world's most famous debating society. By tradition, the rival candidates take opposing sides and lead both the motion and the opposition. Boris, already universally known by his first name, had to argue for a change to the UK's voting system, which would have helped smaller and centrist parties and would have run totally counter to his own politics. As far as I can recall, he did a good job of sounding as though he actually believed what he was saying, but sadly, I cannot remember any of his brilliant and cutting analysis except for the following one-liner. You need to look at the bell curve, he said. You know what a curve is. It's a curve it's a curve shaped like a bell. He mimed a bell with both arms as he spoke. It got a laugh. He said nothing of any great insight and does not in any case believe in proportional representation. But he provided one more line and one more laugh that I can remember from his opponent. Mark Carnegie, who went on to a highly successful career as an investment banker and private equity investor in Australia. Boris won that election to become president of the Union, and he now appears to be on course to be the next prime minister of the UK. Okay, let's continue on, guys. The way he won the presidency of the Union gives us clues as to how he is doing this. It is certainly not because of the debating prowess which he honed in academia. He was the only candidate for the conservative leadership to skip a television debate over the weekend, and he also missed a series of hustings. The Oxford Union has hosted some great debates on the European Union, both ahead of the 2016 referendum and ahead of Britain's referendum on whether to leave what was then the European Economic Community in 1975. But it appears that Boris has decided that it is best to sit this debate out. This seems to be the good tactic. He is now the overwhelming frontrunner for the job. Meanwhile, the foreign exchange market appears to be underwhelmed by the prospect of a Johnson premiership. So guys, I want you to understand that everything is basically skyrocketing down. Look at the pound trade weight. Look at the value of the pound, guys. All right? Look at the value of the pound. Pound's trajectory just keeps going down, 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 down. Predicted trajectory shooting down, okay? Guys, here's another one for you. This is from June 19, 2019, all right? All-out efforts to avoid recession, kicking the can down the road, may have big hidden costs. Here's what one strategist sees as the potential price tag. Deutsche Bank's read says more frequent financial crisis likely. More frequent financial crisis. So in other words, it won't just be one financial crisis. It will be a series of financial crises. So as a result of kicking the can so much, we can expect more recessions happening like every 1 to 2 years or 3 years possibly. All right. So basically, guys, we'll basically keep falling into multiple cycles, frequent cycles of a financial crisis. I hope you're not fooling yourselves. I honestly hope you are not fooling yourselves right now. Okay? Because this thing is serious. It is a frightening precedent. Are the US and other countries actually raising the risk of financial panic like the one in 2008 through hyper-aggressive policies meant to stave off recession? Yeah, they are. Some economists and investment pros worry. The answer is yes. Dutch bank strategists Jim Reed and Craig Nicole weigh the risk in a lengthy report called The Longest US Expansion on Record. Why, how, and what's the cost? Okay? So let's go ahead and listen to this. Reed and Nicole contend that massive stimulus from the government and central banks may be laying the seeds for more frequent financial crises. All right. Market Watch followed up with Reed about the report. The idea that Market Watch said the idea that periodic recessions are good, they clear out the economic deadwood, is an old one. Citizens and politicians obviously hate the idea because it means lost jobs and votes. It is even possible for anyone, including central banks, to argue the case. Is it even possible for anyone, including central banks, to argue the case in this day and age? All right. So recessions aren't actually necessarily bad. Okay. They basically help the economy to correct, to weed out people who are gaming it, companies that need to go away. All right. The bad players. So recessions aren't all bad. But just like in the cryptocurrency market, you have people that will prop up the markets using artificial means, all right? Essentially creating one big bubble in and of itself, all right? And then when everyone finds out that, this crypto it has no utility, all right? It's really just a scam coin. Everyone starts rushing out of the market. And that's exactly what's happening with the US economy, with economies globally. People are going to realize, wait a minute, it's just one big bubble. There's actually, this money isn't backed by anything. This whole thing has been propped up by lies, all right? Propped up by lies from the central bank and tactics used by the central banks and the Federal Reserve to make it appear like things are better than they really are, all right? And then everything starts crumbling down. And because they took so long, because they allowed the expansion to go for so long, all the bad players, more and more of them emerge. And those who should have been pushed out a decade ago are now thriving. So what happens? What happens when everything is revealed? And the truth always comes to the truth always comes to the surface. What happens? Oh, of course. All these companies start crashing, but you know what starts going on first? All the CEOs start getting golden parachutes, all right? They have those gold, and if you don't know what a golden parachute is, I'll explain. It's basically when these CEOs, these big executives who help to, create these bubbles and these big behemoth companies that are now going to crash down, basically get like $100 million in severance or more as they leave the companies and basically allow everything to crash down. All right. So basically, the guys at the top make off like bandits, and everyone else at the bottom suffers. The public suffers. The investors suffer. Of course, the employees suffer. But the people running the scheme all get away with. They all make off with tons of money. And guess what? Here's what's interesting about the financial system. When these companies get liquidated, all right, so they file for chapter 11 bankruptcy, whatever it is, all right? what many or chapter 9, whatever it is, what many of you don't know is that when they start dividing up assets, okay, the first people to get paid are creditors. After the creditors get paid, okay, who gets paid next? The executives. The executives, they get paid. Then the employees, okay, and if anything is left over, then the investors. Notice that creditors and investors are not the same thing, okay? Investors are people who own shares in the company. Creditors are people who've loaned money to the company to conduct its business. So they get first dibs. Then the executives get to collect whatever is left and split that up. And if anything's left over, then the employees who've lost their jobs get back pay potentially. And then, and only then, do the investors who invested all that money into these companies possibly see a chance of recouping anything. And usually it's a tiny amount. If anything's left over, that's a tiny amount divided by all these investors. So people that invested millions of dollars will now see maybe $1 million or $2 million divided up amongst all these investors. So they might get what, $1,000 each if they're lucky? Probably not even that much. But hey, it's better than nothing, right? It's sad how little people understand how the actual financial system works. So let's see here. Market Watch said the idea that Reed says, I think the problem is that after a buildup of many long cycles where leverage and debt has grown on a compounded basis, so that basically means year over year, it is now difficult to let natural economic cycles evolve without systematic risk to the economy and major loss of jobs and activity. As such, policymakers try even harder to avoid them, which actually perpetrates the problem. So the biggest policy errors were perhaps made 20 to 30 years ago under the watch of the boomers. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the legacy, guys. Thank you for the legacy that you've left to us. All right, so Market Watch says, your article suggests aggressive government and central bank steps to limit recessions can lead to even bigger problems. Is that what happened in 2008? Did authorities plant the seeds for the global financial panic? They're calling it financial panic. I'm calling financial collapse. Reed says the seeds of the 2008 global financial crisis were probably sown in the early 1970s. 1970s. All right? When we moved from a tightly controlled financial system where money was based on gold to a fiat money system where slowly but surely credit became widely available. Debt climbed from very low levels to high levels over many cycles without much creative distribution. As the new freedom to intervene meant you were able to prevent more challenging short-term situations arising, but at a cost of higher debt. By 2008, we had a tipping point and a huge leverage crisis. Market Watch says, so you suggest the current approach can go on until the era of flow of inflation gives way to rising prices, or countries like the US have a debt funding crisis. Do you see either happening anytime soon? Reed, it's difficult to see much changing in the immediate future, but I think policy will be more reflationary as we try to figure out ways out of the next recession. Figure out our way out of the next recession. More fiscal policy across the board. That might bring inflation nearer, and government will have to work out how they finance this. My guess is the central banks will print even more money. Guys, do you understand why I keep telling y'all now, go and buy crypto, go and buy crypto? I put out all these courses teaching you how to invest, because all the central banks are going to do is print more money, which is just going to lead to greater hyperinflation. So the the money around the world is just going to become more and more worthless, especially alongside a system like crypto that is limited in supply. That's why everyone's letting you know crypto is the new digital gold, although stay away from Facebook's Libra. That's just bad stuff, man. That's just bad stuff. All right, guys, this one is hilarious. This one's hilarious, guys, okay? Why? This one's from CNN, okay? CNN, Authority CNN. Why it's too early to hunker down for a recession. CNN doesn't want you guys preparing for a recession, guys. It's too early, all right? Right now, we're looking at a sense of mixed signals. Trade wars, inverted yield cycles, and a total talk of 2020 recession. It's clearly an uncomfortable time for investors. All right, and yet U.S. stocks have raced back to life after a horrible May. Guys, the S&P 500 finished on Friday just 2% shy of an all-time high. The choppy action points to the deep uncertainty in financial market. Is this just a soft patch like the many others that the decade-long economic expansion has survived, or is this something more serious? Jeffrey Sherman, Deputy Chief Investment Officer at Double Line Capital, is urging investors to be cautious before making any rash moves in either direction. Guys, listen to me. A capital company, Capital. You know why they're urging people not to make any rash moves? Because they don't want people pulling out all of their capital. This is another reason why you don't keep your money in the banks. All right? I told you they're going to chain the doors. Chain the door. You're not going to be able to go inside. When Greece experienced their economic crisis, they could only take out 50 euros a day at ATMs. People would spend an entire day trying to get 50 euros out. People who had saved for their entire lives lost everything. This is in Greece, one of the oldest countries in the world, one of the most developed countries in the world. Greece. In Venezuela, the hyperinflation of the bolivar, because they just started printing more as the value of it declined, experienced about 100,000 times hyperinflation. The bolivar is now worth less. Literally, it is actually worth less than the physical paper that it's printed on. It cost more to print a single bolivar bill than the bill is actually worth. 100,000 times hyperinflation. And what they've been doing is they're just increasing the number. So for example, as the money is worth less, they just start moving to higher amounts. So like, oh, yesterday $1, one bolivar is no longer is now worth what is now basically equivalent to 1,000 bolivar. No problem. We'll just print 1,000 bolivar bills. So people who saved for their entire lives in Venezuela lost everything. All right? They lost everything. You've got to be kidding me. Guys, right now it's the time to lay the foundation for yourselves to make your money, to become millionaires, all right? That's what you should be doing. Developing your investment strategies. That's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be screwing around right now. You shouldn't be goofing around right now. Okay? Because I told you no one's going to come to the rescue. No one's coming to the rescue. Gerard says, yeah, I agree. I'm an angry stream fan. What's going on, bro? Mickey Turner's in the chat. Mickey, you need to schedule your coaching session for this coming weekend. All right? Duran says, so happy I invested earlier in crypto. Thank you, Angry. You are very welcome, brother. Hunter Red says, Angry, QE coming to a central bank near you. y'all trolling, but I think Hunter Red is one of the people who actually purchased crypto and already purchased crypto a while ago. So yeah, I mean, he control all he wants. Goo Monster is telling Tim that he's moving his cryptos onto another exchange. Oh gosh, you guys aren't messing around. Shoots. Hunter Red says fake money, fake assets. Goo Monster says U.S. residents are getting kicked off their main platform. Guys, I'm telling y'all, it's terrible. Guys, what's happening right now? Another thing is a lot of Americans are being trapped into the fiat currency scheme. The government doesn't want you owning Bitcoin. They don't want you owning alternate forms of cryptocurrency. All right? Because as soon as you start moving to crypto, that means that the value of the US, that means that you're abandoning the US, the dollar. Daniel says, "What's up, Angry? What's going on, Daniel? What's going on, Daniel? Let me see here. I don't know how you don't have a mod. I don't know how you never got a wrench. Fix that." Boyd says, "Thoughts of Libra. Libra bad. Libra, like Hulk would say bad. Like, you know, so and so bad. Like Libra bad. Those are my thoughts on it. Libra bad." Raven says, "I'm planning to move to Indonesia. That's a good move." Jerron says, "I saw that Coinbase card." Guys, start getting your crypto cards. Let me tell you, that's another thing. Coinbase card. Let me see. There's the Coinbase card, and and there's also the BitPay card. Me personally, I don't really like the BitPay card. There's a lot of restrictions with BitPay. When I used to use the Shift card, the Shift debit card from Coinbase, it worked really, really well. It was a great card. So I recommend everyone just pick up the Coinbase card. They kind of do have like high fees withdrawing money, but at the end of the day, it's still much better than having a bank being tied into the banking system. And at the same time, you can travel. I mean, you can travel the world. You can go all over the world. Like, for example, guys, you go to another country, you can withdraw your money quickly. All right. That's one of the great things. If you want to travel overseas, it's a nightmare. For example, you can't bring more than like 10. What? You can't bring like more than $10,000 out of the country. Guys, you need to actually act. You need to act on what you're doing right now. You need to begin investing. You need to make your money, or else you are going to be in a world of difficulty. And no one's going to come to your rescue. No one's going to say, "Hey, we're going to bail you out." Like I said, guys, homelessness is a miserable thing. You need to begin investing. You need to begin stepping up your game right now. Okay? Right now. Don't fall asleep at the wheel. Don't play games, all right? Begin making your investments. Guys, you need to start thinking like a millionaire, all right? You need to start employing the specific strategies to become a crypto millionaire, because that's it. That's it for you guys right now. We just put out a new course today, how to become a crypto millionaire, all right? And the course was released as a part of the early bird special. It's only $129 right now, but that's only for 24 hours, all right? And the course usually goes for $159. Again, this special is going to end. The special will be over in 22 hours. Okay? Special will be over in 22 hours. All right. So let's see here. Guys, the course is the strategy you must use to become a crypto millionaire. And basically, you're going to learn what coins you shouldn't be investing in to become a crypto millionaire. You're going to learn the investment strategy used by crypto millionaires to become that crypto millionaires have used to become crypto millionaires, all right? You're also going to learn how to avoid losing everything on your path to becoming a crypto millionaire. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy, all right? This course is $159, but you're going to get it for $129 today. You've got 21 hours left to pick it up. Guys, let me know what you think. If you agree that this is just the start of a major global collapse and everyone should be investing right now, investing as much as they can, all right? Don't invest everything, but invest whatever you can lose, because right now, and it's time to take risk, all right? If you have very little to invest, then invest everything, because you know what? At the end of the day, it's better than doing nothing. If you do nothing, then you're making a conscious decision to to put yourself in a situation where you cannot provide for yourself. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. If you agree that we're in this nightmare of a recession right now, and the best thing you can do is invest. You can find links to the course in the description of the video. Love God, get money, and say it with me. You guys love it when I do this part. Cheers. There's 21 of you guys watching. I am so impressed. Links to cryptomoney.academy in the description of the video. I'm so impressed. I feel so great about that.